trillion this Christmas, believe it or not.
Once again, slow motion. See how mild and good tasting a cigarette can be.
Right, we're live. Right, yeah, hi, I'm the OBG. I'm tired, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, no excuses, just letting you know the score, stating the facts. So I went on to YouTube tonight and I saw that 5 of my videos had copyright issues. And I wondered what they were. I thought to myself, hey, all my stuff's original. You know what I mean? It's like, and when I say original, I'm going to get back onto this in a minute. I said that as a throwaway statement because there can't be any originality with 7.1 billion people in the world. And, you know, so many people throwing out ideas. And I'm not just talking about adults and academics and scientists and inventors. I'm talking about even children. You know, they utter some words and it's profound if a rock star or an actor says those words. You know, a kid may just say, I think we should all live together in peace. And when Brad Pitt says it, you know, he's suddenly a hero and it goes down in all the history books. But my main gripe is that I checked the 5 videos that I had with copyright issues and I realised that I was wrong, they were right. But I'm not happy with it. They allow me to play the videos, they allow me to use the material, but any revenue that those videos make, I mean my videos, the whole video, the revenue goes to the copyright holder. Now, to me that's just theft. It's absolutely unjust. And one of the films that I used was Doris Day, Annie Get Your Gun, which is an amazing film. It's got a beautiful song in there called Anything You Can Do. And they tagged that. I also used a trailer for The Joker. I used a Halloween trailer from the 1980s or 79 when that film first came out. Another one was a video of a guy. He makes these funny videos where he's sitting in a car with his friend and he says, it's 2 African guys. I don't know which countries they're from, but he says to his friend, you know, if you say beer can in an English accent, it sounds like bacon. And he tries it and then he gets out and he starts dancing outside the car. Now, I don't think those guys would have a copyright issue, but they're playing a Sean Paul song in the background and that had a copyright issue, which means that Sean Paul's company are going to get the revenue. Now, I'll come back to why I agree with some of it and not some of it, some others. Hello, Martin. I think. And the other copyright issues, I think with the 5th one, I can't really think of it right now. But the point I'm trying to make is, be a pirate, copy whatever you can, whenever you can, because those companies, they make their money anyway. They made their money a long time ago. And if I can make an analogy, if you make a cake and you give that cake to somebody and they eat it, the cake's gone, that's it, the event's over. You've earned your money for the produce and the person gave you money to consume that. Now, if that person comes back for more cakes because you're a good cake maker, you can still keep on giving that person cakes. But you have to make a new cake every single time. You have to put your labour in order to make more wealth. Now, the problem I have with films and music is simply that you've already made your money. You sold the film, you had some success worldwide, 30 million people watched the film and they all paid $5 each, and then you've got the advertisers and however else revenue comes in for these films, and you've made your money, you've sold your cake. And now what you're saying, like 40 years later, if anyone wants a piece of this pie, they're going to have to pay again, or no one's allowed to use it. That's the worst thing about it. And why it makes me angry is that it's capitalism. That's all, capitalism. It just says, right, you can make as much money for it as long as you like with a product that's been out in the public for 40, 50 years and so on. And the issue with that is that it's not conducive to a society, for a society to grow. And the same problem I have, I won't go too into depth, with patents as well. You invent something that cleans water in your local river, and instead of sharing it with your village and the village beside you, and you can charge them a fee if you want it, a one-off, you say, this is patented now, or patented, no one else can copy this, no one else can get clean water in the way that this cleans water, because I own it, it's mine, it's my company's, and I'm not going to share it with anybody. That's just a ridiculous notion, it's just inhumane. Now back to copyright, I believe that someone has a right to earn from their work, but like the cake analogy I use, once you've sold it, once it's out of your hands and it's into the in the world. Have you ever played this game before? Then you've made your money. Well, why would you want to hold on to that? And everyone should be able to not only just use derivatives of that and change it and make money, because this is how the world's grown. The very film that's preventing people from watching it again or sharing it or copying it, it's a derivative of another film. Nothing's original in this world. That film, when you look at a scene, if you know your films, you go, oh, that's a scene from, and you can keep picking it out all day long. And the mannerisms of an actor, or the fact it was based on, or a play or something. Now, often they pay, it's based on a book, and they pay for that, and it's based on a stage play and so on. And they make some remuneration to the creators of those. But they make their money. If the film costs 15 million to make, that's cheap. I'm going back to the old days. And then they've taken in 60 million on it. They've made their money. That's it. The film should just be anybody's now. And it's the same with music. I've got nothing against Madonna, but I'll use this as an example. Madonna releases Like a Virgin, say in 1978. And I don't know the dates exactly. And she makes £1 million off of it. The record company makes £10 million off of it. Now, if anyone else tries to sing that really popular and very distinct song by Madonna, very few people are going to get any sales on that. And no one else is going to succeed. And they should be allowed to, because they've sold it, they've made their money. Not only have they sold it, but they've put it out into the public. And the issue that I have with that, if you harken back to old days, if you wanted to make money, you took your lute out, right, and you went and played in the village and you made money. And when people got used to you after a while, you have to write new songs, you have to work like the carpenter and the bricklayer and the cake maker and the seamstress. But now what people have got used to in modern society is that you can make a song and then you don't have to work anymore. You just try and sell that song. You say, now, if anyone ever wants to copy my work, this is me, I've worked now. I've done the work. It took me 6 weeks to make this song. No one else can use it. If you want to hear it, if you want to copy it, if you want to share it with someone, you have to pay me. And that's just a rubbish idea. It's one of the worst ideas ever. And people don't get it. They're so used to it. Now, I'm a pirate and always have been. I don't agree with copyright. I love copyright infringement. I love copyleft. And that's the way everyone should live. They make their money from the people who want to pay. And the model that's been put in place by the corporations that back these ideas up, they love it because they're pulling money in all the time. And it really doesn't sit well with me. With copyright, there's things like the Happy Birthday song. It breaches every kind of act known to man. They pass new laws for the Happy Birthday song. It's out of date, copyright date. I think things last for 25 years or 50 years, depending on whether it's books and songs and so on. And they extended it. So no one else can use that song. Happy Birthday. Every time you see a birthday card with a little musical thing, that company's paid money. You cannot use the birthday, Happy Birthday tune. And it's a brilliant tune, a lovely little ditty, lovely melody, and very basic. The world should be able to use it. And it's not about making money, it's just about having the right to use something that's beneficial to the world. And the birthday song is beneficial. You sing it at someone's birthday to make them happy. And if you've got a band in to play it, they're not really allowed to do that. And not only that, if they were allowed to do it and made it their own version, some people want to copyright that and say no one can copy it. But you earned your money for your performance. You played the song at a gig, you got paid for playing it, it's your song. If you want to earn money, work like everyone else, go and keep playing your song at other locations and get paid. But don't try and lock it up in some legal, not lawful coating and tell people that no one's allowed to listen to this song, copy this song, play this song in a bar, play this song in a public space because of copyright. Copyright sucks. I wish everyone who puts copyright on their material to have a very limited success. And even if copyrights were to be reformed, then how about you say, right, you can copyright your product, your book, your song, but for 2 years. And then after that, it's public domain. If you haven't made money on a product in 2 years, it's not interested, no one's interested, or you're just handling it wrong, how you're going to sell it. Now, people think you've got to have worldwide success with a song, or, you have to sell it to everybody, and it's no, you don't. You sell your song locally where you are, or you sell it where your fan base is, and to build your fan base up, you've got to get big. But everyone's got this notion that you've got to be a superstar with a song and then close down all the rights on that song. Well done, China, for copying everything. I love it. Now, with books, it's the same thing. Books, to me, I believe are writing. It's just my opinion. It's much more harder work than writing music and performing musical instruments and so on, because about capturing the imagination of people. And with a song, the oral gratification I believe it's much easier than words. Most people don't want to read neither anyway. But to copyright a book, then, okay, that person may have taken a year or 2 years to write the book. So maybe the length of time it took them to create their works, they can have a copyright for double that length of time. Then after that, it doesn't exist. But 20 years, 25 years and 50 years on items which a society should be sharing, it's just too long. It's too much. So, if you get the chance, copy. You see companies like Star Wars saying, no, we have to combat piracy because people copied our films and they may want to sue someone. And you think, but you made $500 million on the film. That's profit. You don't need to make any more money on that. And then you've made more films and made more money. And the whole franchise has made billions. And if anyone copies it, people know it's not their work. And the new generations, so what? There's no point trying to defend something and say we've put a copyright ban on this so that people in 25 years can also enjoy our work. Nothing lasts forever. That's the whole idea. Once again, to use a cake analogy, a couple of minutes pass, you savour the cake, and if you want more, you go and get more. Not only just get them because they may not exist, but the producer of the cakes has to start making more cakes. But people want to sing one song or one album and tell the whole world that they're not allowed to reproduce it because they're too lazy to go and make new songs. And then they hold on the copyrights of these for way, way too long. Anyway, I've said enough. Copyright, copy wrong. So that's that little rant over. I'm tired. I may have sounded angrier than I actually was. I'm not mad angry about copyright. I'm a little dismayed. That's all that. We live in a world where people, accept this kind of madness, that, the people are claiming that they're original. It's only original because people haven't seen it before. You could go to a tiny village in even what they call, modernised countries. I don't like the term developed. Everyone's developed, but in the modern, the warfaring countries, and you could go to a very small town and show them Shakespeare's work, and they wouldn't know it was Shakespeare. Or you could go to, and take music from another country, bring it over, and say to people, "Who do you think this?" They won't know. It's original as far as they're concerned. But these people are saying, "Oh no, I'm original." And in a world of 7.1 billion people, you are not original. People may argue and say, "Oh right, but listen to that." When a new genre happens, typically there's some originality in there, maybe using new methods of creating sounds and producing the music and so on. But when you look at the root of music, it's the same. It's based on blues music or soul music, and rock music's all based on blues and so on, and they're using simple scales. There's only a limited amount of notes that exist and scales that exist and so on, and those are limited again because we're not used to listening to so many other scales, musical scales from other countries, for instance. So we limit ourselves to what we know. So within that, originality is going to be very, very, very hard to create. Yet people create something by swapping a few notes over, deriving the idea from someone, and then holding a bloody copyright in it and telling everyone else that they can't copy it. It's bloody annoying. Anyway, I'm the OBG. I don't think people really know the true hypnotic power of television. How it pulls us in and just keeps telling us to consume, buy, and tells us to hate each other and separates us and causes the greatest divides, all under the name of entertainment. And every time I turn on my TV, it's just like no surprise. It's all of those programs in there. Okay, let me just come back on. I do have a copyright notice on my work, but I would never prosecute the regular person in the street, an average person, if they wanted to use my work. What's the use about this anyway? The reason I've got a copyright notice on my work, because as I explained earlier, I believe that you should have some time to protect your work and so on. And second to that, it just protects me from the corporations, because I don't want no billion-dollar company using my work without paying me for it. That's all. But everyone else, you can do what you like with it. I'm the OBG. I don't think people really know the true hypnotic power of television. How it pulls us in and just keeps telling us to consume, buy, and tells us to hate each other and separates us and causes the greatest divides, all under the name of entertainment. And every time I turn on my TV, it's just like no surprise. It's all of those programs in there.